if they want to defeat Octa Gaming, just being good is not enough. They have to be better.
Yes, they do. The 9Z did say that this one's going to be a tough match for them. They are at least know that they're going against a really top contender here. So they have to bring their A game to kind of get through it. They are going to go ahead and ban out the Yeed and the Freya and Carry as well.
Yeah, and we're going with the pretty standard bans out here. Exactly. I feel like we're kind of leaving a few of them open. Still got Marcel, still have Zushin out there as well. Still, you know what? I don't remember. Did we see last game? Did we see Sora at all?
I haven't seen him. No, I don't think they chose him at all in that last match we did. No.
At least in the last match we didn't see.
Yeah, that's why I asked you guys. I'm like, he's not priority anymore or something. Something's, I don't know. What happened?
Something happened. Yeah, something happened. You know what? I was like remembering the talk that we had yesterday with Gusta Lagusta. That we were saying like, one of the dangerous players on Octa's lineup is V2. You know, like he was saying that V2 is a very good gold laner. It's a very solid one. So I'm wondering here, like, if 9Z is gonna focus on this like gold lane situation, especially trying to neutralize V2's options here. But I think that a funny thing that is happening is it's actually Octa Gaming that is focusing on Gusta Lagusta. They brought out the carry, they brought out Harriet out here, and Harley and the jungler probably for Thanatos Z as being the first potential here. But now the first choice coming out from Octa Gaming is him, Baxia.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting thing. I think a lot of respect coming out from Octa Gaming when it comes to Gusta Lagusta. We saw Gusta Lagusta is able to shine on so many marksman picks, and even when it comes to bringing out some of his comfort picks, like a Wan we saw yesterday. Not just bringing out the Wan, but a dominating game with a Wan, a hero that has kind of slipped pretty far from the meta here. So big focus out there coming from the side of Octa Gaming. With the Baxia pickup, it does leave open the Zushin for the side of 9Z Globant. They're going to scoop that up alongside the Glue pickup.
Well, they're making sure they pick up those meta and not giving it to the other team. Baxia's over here, Zushin on that side. Glue's, he's pretty good as well. It played right. but they're gonna go ahead and pick out that Claude here, giving a smaller hero pool for Gusta Lagusta.
Yeah, so, and especially when it comes to Glue here, it doesn't matter if it plays on the roaming side or the XP lane here. It is a very good situation, especially to get like some mobility heroes, you know, like it was for Harley, it could be a trouble because the Glue and the ultimate when it's stuck in his head, you don't have ways to get out. But whoa, we're seeing the Faramis here on Octa's gaming composition.
Yeah, Faramis has been we haven't seen him very often, although, which kind of is actually a little bit crazy for how deadly he is to a Glue. When he has that split and all of those little minions, Faramis is able to be able to, I think he does bonus damage for every single enemy that he hits in one blow, and that clears out Glue's minions very quickly here.
Oh, yeah.
So, but the problem is that Faramis, this is not a great meta for support type roams. So, and that's why you haven't seen so many Faramises, but here I feel Octa Gaming is very confident in this pickup for them.
That's exciting to see. Faramis on the stage. I say Faramis. But yes, that is a big counter there to Glue. So I wonder if that was their target to kind of handicap the Glue here. They're going ahead and picking up the Suyu. I wonder what their next ban. Oh, Phobius being banned here on the side of 9Z.
Yeah, and I wonder if, not if, but this confidence coming up from Octa Gaming gets really stronger, because not only with the Faramis choice, but they also choose Claude, which is a natural counter, especially when it comes to the ultimate, the Blazing Duet, like countering the sacrifice piece coming from the ultimate from Faramis here. So not only getting the Faramis, but also a natural counter. It is choosing by Octa Gaming. But now Sora, as we were talking about here, as this before this draft start. So now they Sora was banned by Octa Gaming. We're seeing now which one is 9Z is about to ban. If they continue focusing on XP lane, for example, Valentina could be another banning here coming out for both teams, or Lapu, for example, if they continue on XP lane focus. So many possibilities here coming out from this last ban.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
for sure.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, the pick of the Faramis was so quick, and the fact that Claude is a big counter for it leads me to believe this is like exactly the way the early draft was, that Octa was predicting this early draft to go. So I'm kind of worried about 9Z Globant with these next two pickups. They're very important for us to be able to kind of get a little bit of an advantage here. I feel like the early game's not too bad for the side of 9Z Globant. On the side of Octa Gaming, depending on where the Roam pick goes, Faramis, I want to say his clear isn't great. It's not terrible, but he will be able to get to some of those side lanes. He just doesn't provide a huge amount just yet, unless you can kind of use, I want to say, what is it, the not the Nether Realm, the Shadow Stampede. That's the when he can kind of get into their charge forward and pull back heroes, especially when they're trying to sit underneath their tower to try to escape. So it's something that 9Z Globant's gonna have to be very careful of, especially because I feel like some of these niche picks, it can be even deadlier because teams have forgotten how to play around them. You know what I mean? They might not be as great on their own, but the fact that you haven't seen it in a while, like we saw with the Lu Yi, where that where her ultimate was coming down, and I think it was a Lapu kind of like stood there for a second. It was like trying to compute what was happening here, and then suddenly you have the entire team coming down onto you. Here, gonna go ahead and scoop up for a little bit of security for that early game Hilda, which means Glue will be going into the XP lane.
Yes, they went ahead and picked up the Hilda. They banned out that Moskov, giving Gusta Lagusta even a smaller hero pool, but then they have Bruno Granger open, even his favorite, Wan. So he still has options. Nothing major there for them. They're still needing their mage here on the side of Octa, as well as their healing there. Oh, unless they're using Pheromones at the mid. Oh. Yeah, Pheromones is a mid.
Oh my goodness. If you want to control, you have control now coming out from Octa's composition here. To be honest, I was expecting the Hylos, especially when Thanatos TZ talked in the video saying, oh, Hylos is only moving forward, you know, like when you like get in a composition like that, you gotta say, okay, pick Hylos, just go forward, you know, with the glorious path, so you help your team to get this following up with the move speed and the damage as well. But no, they came with the Grok and Terizla here at the final composition. Penalties on a tectonic charge here. There's a lot of control coming out from this Octa's composition. And the last one that I didn't see because I talked too much is Granger coming out from Gusta Lagusta.
Yeah, I'm almost kind of a little iffy about the Granger, only because I feel like it could have been saved for a Harith pickup that would come out there. But if they're victorious here, then you waste a lot of picks on the side of Octa Gaming. But I feel like too here with Faramis, with Terizla, and even the Grok, I feel we're setting ourselves up with a decent amount of cushion for a lot of these positions, that even if we lose, we had 3 heroes that aren't picked as often, that aren't considered as strong in the current meta here too as well. But man, I am intently excited to see how these. Oh, did they just switch around the? Oh yeah, they just for some reason they just switched around where Thanatos TZ was on there. I was a little confused. I thought they switched positions.
Did you imagine surprise? Teresa on the mid lane.
I'm back. Oh man, but yeah, they do have a good CC comp there. A lot of control for that side. They just want to kind of, I guess, make sure they can keep them locked down enough for what they picked the Claude, right, to dish out those damage.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have the tectonic charge, you're gonna have the penalty zone, and then you're gonna have Faramis, who can come in with I think it's the ghost bursters that he uses. That's that little that triangle damage that he's able to spread out, where how many enemies are in there, the more damage it does. But Rico, go ahead and take us into game one.
Yeah, so everybody here, welcome to the Land of Dawn for the first time here in this Best of 5. Octa Gaming versus the 9Z Globant. This is the last match of the day of the weekend from the MCT AMER South. Let's go, my friend Private. And actually, it was like a visual bug because I thought I was seeing like Thanatos TZ with Teresa in the jungle. But no, it's a box in the jungle.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of confused about. I'm like, I hope that wasn't what I was saying there. But yeah, both of these teams, a big little pull there coming out onto Alburo Crazy. And the one thing though is, are we going to be able to make use of this Hilda here when it comes to being able to harass and get value out of this pickup? Because I mean, you're going up against Aboxia, and there's really nothing but tanky picks coming out from Octa Gaming. Here you see Chino and Lucy going at it back and forth. Neither one of them really getting an advantage. Ooh, a little bit of a pull back there on to Segan. Does put out some damage. Thanatos does find Alburo Crazy. Fashin right there on the side is going to be able to lift him up there. Lucinho comes down, might be in a little bit of trouble, is able to find an escape.
Yeah, like you saw the control here coming out for Faramis, especially on Luisinho, but oh, what about is happening?
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and try to find, I don't know, Alburo Crazy got caught there on the enemy side, might be in trouble here, gets hit up, gonna find himself a little bit of healing there. In comes Fashion, Luisinho able to find the first blood, and that's gonna go ahead and set them up for a Lord. Saber down as well. Lucy gonna have to look for the disengage. That's gonna open up this first hurdle for 9Z Globant.
Everything went well here for 9Z Globant because Alburo Crazy was able to survive. He bought so much time for the response coming out from 9Z Globant. 2 kills for Luisinho. The first turtle for 9Z Globant. What an interesting early game here for 9Z Globant so far.
Yeah, we take a look at the emblems here. I mean, nothing kind of out of the whack here. A little bit of a fighter emblem there on the side of the Granger as well to kind of get a little bit of healing, but I think that's become a little bit customary now on the marksman side to kind of add to the healing that they can get once they hit that mid game and get those 3-item spikes. I think Gusta Lagusta is going to be the Gusta Lagusta taking on V2 is going to be the big one that we're looking at for. Speaking of which, up at the top, a little bit of action going on between Saber and Alburo Crazy. V2 is going to come around the side for a little bit of support. Alburo Crazy is continuing on with the harassment there. Oh, Blazing Duet actually comes out from V2. Gusta Lagusta hitting him with the Rhapsody actually does a lot of damage to him. Hunter Strike picked up for Luisinho.
Yeah, Alburo Crazy is still on the bush here, waiting for a Saber or someone to get lost in the jungle here, coming out from Octa Gaming. But now, oh, Saber, Thanatos, TZ, and Sagan are playing together. Alburo Crazy. It's very crazy, though. It's just like, okay, it's in the nickname, it's in the nick here, so that is why using Crazy on that side. But once again, 9Z Globant trying to dominate this space, you know, because they got the kills, they got the turtle, so they don't want to lose this rhythm. They don't want to lose this pressure caused by this advantage so far. We're seeing a goal lead now, like just a little bit more than 1k for 9Z Globant. But now in the mid lane, here we go.
Yeah, a little bit of action there. I think that you saw that Thanatos was trying to find himself an angle, but Chino was right there to continue on to enable a little bit of an escape for his team. First turtle, or the turtle is up right now. The second one of the game. Saber in a little bit of trouble here, gets caught up, is going to try to be getting away with the photonic charge. We do have the Nether Realm that just got activated. Is that going to be enough to save Octa Gaming? Now, coming in Fashion with that ultimate, is able to find a kill on to Octa. Lucy is able to reply in kind on to Chino. A little bit. Oh, we can see the evil Queller coming out from Luisinho. Not able to find a kill just yet, but it is able to push Octa Gaming away. That's going to be 2 turtles for 9Z Globant.
I'll tell you again here, my friend, if one more dagger in Luisinho's build, it was enough to get 2 more kills for the Suyo on that last ultimate damage. Oh, here in the top lane. Okay.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and try to lock on to V2. In a little bit of trouble here. Out comes the reinforcements in the form of Thanatos TZ. V2 trying to spray on the damage, keep on his stacks, but in comes Alburo Crazy to enable an escape for his team.
Good response coming out from 9Z Globant here. The cavalry always arriving on time to save their teammate. Alburo Crazy sensing the danger. 3 players of Octa Gaming. Chino is on the bush for anything happens, in case of anything happens. But now we're seeing Fashin and Gusa heading for the top side. Maybe we can have some kind of party, but now the rest of the team from Octa Gaming are moving out from the mid lane. They're always like working on this roaming, even to try to surprise Gusta on the gold lane.
Yeah, the communication between both of these teams is tremendous there too, especially when it comes to Saber using that wall to input it into that bush to pop out both of 9Z Globant. As soon as that happens, immediately V2 turns away from the lane because he realizes that there's 2 members in there waiting to try to get a gank on there. They're so quick to respond, so quick to understand, and it's no wonder it's been so tough to get any type of ganks that haven't been in the form of like a lot of these objective fights here. Gusta with the Rhapsody putting on some damage on the V2. Thanatos is able to find himself a kill onto Chino. Is this going to set up a fight here? And Thanatos able to find himself a kill onto the second turtle, or actually the third turtle there for the side of Octa Gaming. 2 kills as well, bringing us to a 2-3 game.
A very crucial kill here for Octa Gaming to guarantee the turtle, because after that, Luisinho was not able to contest, was not able to fight back about this third turtle. But now here in the top side, oh, V2 almost getting killed by Luisinho with Suyo, but now Alburo Crazy is up to do something. Both teams are heading on the top side. Here comes the boom.
Yeah, they're looking to try to maybe put some damage onto this tower. Fashion gonna have to use that ultimate on the backside up at the top. Thanatos trying to lock on to Gusta. Lagusta still able to create that distance. This might have been a little bit more. We do have the Nether Realm out there to try to save out Octa Gaming. Still trying to spray on the damage. Chino might be in trouble, taking a lot of damage, and Saber with the kill onto Chino, who has been caught again. Unfortunate for the side of 9Z Globant.
Yeah, so the last minutes were so perfect for Octa Gaming here, privately, because they were able to get the kills, they were able to get the turtle, and now get the tower in the top side, working with the macro. I think that one of the situations that 9Z was like worried about to take control of the game, you know, because, okay, the early game was very interesting for a 9Z Globant, but minute after minute, Octa Gaming was heading back in the game, step by step, you know, getting the kill, getting the turtle, getting the tower, not only the top side, but also in the bottom side here as well for Octa Gaming. But now, almost 9 minutes of the game, goal lead here, heading still for 9Z Globant, but Octa Gaming, sorry, is stronger than ever.
Yeah, they're still got a lot of power behind that. They may not have the gold lead, but I feel like they have a great value in the gold that they do have. 9Z Globant trying to get a position onto this first Lord. Meanwhile, Octa Gaming coming in from the side is going to get that information. Backing up the whole of 9Z Globant. They understand. Luisinho's up at the top right now. Actually, we do have a little bit of another realm coming out from Octa Gaming. Feshin going to have to use that ultimate to get away. Is it going to be enough? Luisinho comes in, is able to take down Segan. V2 is next on the chopping block. Burl Crazy able to find a kill on the Natos. 3-6 right now is 9Z Globant chasing down Octa Gaming. Lifted up, put back. Lucy in trouble. Gets taken down. That is 4 people down for Octa Gaming.
That was absolutely a hell of a cracker now for 9Z Globant, guaranteed 4 kills. And now, the Lord, easier than ever. The first one goes for 9Z Globant. There is a gold opportunity to take down more towers on the map for versus Octa Gaming.
Oh man, they're doing such a great job. Even when it comes to the disengage for Feshin on the Zushin, I want to say use that ultimate and went up. And I was actually a little nervous. I'm like, oh my God, you don't have anybody up there. And it was Luisinho was still up there solo clearing the lane and decided to come down and help out and was able to really turn the tables into that fight. And that's just some great communication, some great synergy when it comes to 9Z Globant here. Octa Gaming having a little trouble when it comes to a lot of these engagements.
Yeah, it's something like you don't get it why the jungler is heading on the top side, why the Lord is in the downside, and then all of a sudden you are seeing Luisinho, sorry, getting double kill in the team fight. So everything working so well with 9Z Globant, especially with the communication system. And now the Lord heading on the top side here. 9Z Globant heading to the opposite side to destroy the tower number 2 on the bottom line here. So I think that they're gonna leave the Lord here to take one more tower. They do that. They get more map here domination. Here comes 9Z Globant. Burro Crazy is playing aggressive. They opt to do something.
Yeah, I think they're making the smart choice here by disengaging. There was the entire team kind of just waiting for them all to try to funnel into that mid lane. So not able to find exactly. But I mean, when you're talking about map presence right now, when you look at the towers, this is not something I thought I would see, especially in game 1. Octa Gaming is down about 5 towers now to 9Z Globant, who are having a very successful game.
Yeah, not only the tower is a difference here, Private, but you see the goal lead now, it was like way ahead for 9Z Globant so far, almost 7k. And when it comes to a Granger, for example, when it comes to a Zushin, that means a lot for 9Z Globant to like be more comfortable in the game, to like guarantee more pressure, to cause more dominate. But now here comes a party at the purple buff from Octa Game.
Ooh, penalty zone does land onto 2 members. Immediate ultimate used by Feshin. We have the Nether Realm coming out. V2 able to find Gusta Lagusta. Luisinho able to answer back immediately to take down V2. Luisinho finds a double onto Saber, and down goes Lucy. Again, down. Octa Gaming running on their backs against the wall. Minions now starting to form around the mid lane. Can Octa Gaming clear this out? 9Z Globant, go ahead and start on. Gonna put the damage out there as well. Trying to come in to try to take out these minions to get a firm defense out there. Getting picked up. Down goes Thanatos.
Thanatos here lost the life, but he at least took down the minion wave, so they was able to defend the high ground tower here on the mid lane. But they are not able to fight back the next Lord, coming out automatically here for 9Z Globant. More pressure, more advantage, and maybe now with this Lord, they are going to the high ground towers from Octa Gaming.
Yeah, right now led, the tip of the spear right now being led by Luisinho, sitting at 8-0-2 on this Suyo pickup. Even when Octa Gaming does find an avenue to be able to get in and find the kill, Luisinho is always right there to clean up as well. It's never an opportunity that is not answered back immediately by 9Z Globant. You could see a great rush here. All the minions pressing onto all the lanes. Lord crashing down at the mid-high ground tower. That is one high ground tower down for the side of Octa Gaming. Now continuing their way on there. You see Luisinho going to clear out the top. The rest of the 9Z Globant at the mid lane looking for an opportunity. Ooh, they do have a wall separating two members of 9Z Globant, but not an answer coming out from Octa just yet. Minions beginning to crash. Top and a bottom high ground tower. You can see the bottom tower destroyed. Only one more high ground tower for Octa Gaming.
Yeah, Octa Gaming now in a very complicated situation. 10k in the gold lead here, Private. 10k goes for 9Z Global. But they, oh, here it comes.
Yeah, a little bit of engagement comes in there. Penalty zone onto 3 members there as well. Luisinho comes in for the damage. Evil Queller comes in after the Nether Realm has expired. Continuing on, Fashion finds a kill onto Lucy. Now the rest of Octa Gaming looking for an escape. Thanatos gets taken out as well. Luisinho with the kill. They're sitting at 9-0-3. 9Z Globant turned their attention to clear out enemy territory.
Yeah, there were another minion wave heading on mid lane, but they didn't want to take any kind of a risk. They took down 2 players, but here the safety is the motto for 9Z Global. One more minion wave heading out the top side here. They want to take down the last high ground tower. They want to cause more pressure. Here comes the wall. Here's a bit of a chip, but now, oops, here comes the boom. Oh.
Yeah, a lot of damage coming up there. They're still trying to defend is Octa Gaming. 9Z Globant wisely decide to disengage from that. Don't want to continue, especially when you have a Faramis on the enemy team, when they're so close to their base and can just rotate in and out to heal up. They do wisely disengage here for this game. Look, he talked about almost a 10k gold lead for the side of 9Z Globant, so they're in a great position, even if they don't get to this Lord very quickly. Now, starting to kind of put this macro up on these side lanes so that they can start getting these pushes. Now, Alberto Crazy checks into this bush, gets a heap of damage coming out from there. Big pop-up comes out. Alberto Crazy gonna use that flicker to get out of harm's way. Nether Realm to try to keep Octa Gaming suppressed up in this fight. Is it going to be enough? Gusta finds a kill onto Saber. Alberto Crazy very low. Luisinho finds himself a double kill onto Octa Gaming. Now chasing them into the back line. V2 goes down. Segan on the backside is able to find a kill onto Fashion. That is a complete team wipe. 9Z Globant has come to play.
On the second match of the day, 9Z Globant dominate everything and makes a question for Octa Gaming. Octa Gaming, do you bleed? Yes, they bleed.
9Z brought their A game today. They were not kidding when they said, yeah, we gotta bring it. We're gonna bring it tomorrow for sure. And here they are. They started off strong and kept it going. And like, what, Luisinho? He got 9-0-3 by like 15 minutes. And Fashion, why would you let Zushin free? See, this is the reason right here why she should be banned. And time again, it's always proven and it still happens. I don't even know. 9Z did wonderful here.
Yeah, not just that, but I feel like we will. I feel like switching the glue from the roam position to keep it flexible, switching it from the roam into the XP really took out a lot of usefulness from Segan on this Faramas pickup. I mean, if he would have stayed in the roam, I feel like Segan would have just followed him around everywhere, trying to get the Ghost Bursters onto those split, and really been able to do the job here. I feel like even with the Nether Realm, the damage output coming out from 9Z was so much. Luisinho did such a great job of trying to keep up that gold. You see here, 15K gold. Over, right? I want to say that's 3K over some of his counterparts. Even Gusta Lagusta, who was in the gold lane, was only at 12K. And we saw that because even when they were at the Lord, Luisinho was still up at the top lane, clearing lanes, clearing jungle to make sure that he kept up that farm so that he had all of that damage to help out in a lot of these fights. And I feel like the damage might have been a big issue here for the side of Octa.
Yeah, and checking out these stats here coming from the first game, Octa with only 5 kills, and not only for that situation that you talked about, like a Farami situation versus like a Glue, possibly in a roaming or an XP lane here. We also have to mention a Boro Crazy with Hilda, because we always talk about like Hilda being very dangerous for like jungler harassment or trying to dominate some places and on the map, for example. But after the Nether Realm, for example, when it comes to Hilda, she is able to cause a damage, you know? Not only about like the slowest situation and this like huge sustainability, but she's able to cause damage. Our Crazy got 2 kills here and only playing forward every time with Hilda, which was one of the pillars to guarantee this victory for 9Z Globant in the first game.
Yes. I think Octa Gaming here would kind of like it went into this not really thinking 9Z was going to bring such a force, right? So just that in general might be a factor in them not thinking that way the next game, and they might start to do better. So who knows how it will turn out this next match for sure.
Yeah, something I was talking about here. So I feel like 3 of our picks here kind of not exactly tried, true, and tested when it comes to the meta, especially when it comes to the Faramas and the Grok. That I feel like Grok has kind of slipped down a bit. Faramas definitely. I don't think I've seen him there. But Zena, go ahead and take us into the MVP.
All right, and this is a well-deserved MVP here for Luisinho. 1107 KDA, 89.8k total damage, and 916 golds per minute. He was unkillable. He was there making all their kills. He was at the right place at the right time. He was doing it all.
Yes, the undefeatable, the unkillable here. It comes to Luisinho with the Suyo getting the MVP on the first match. We were talking about like during the game, like on the first Lord situation, he like getting the top side, like pushing the mini waves, and was trying to figure out what was happening. But then all of a sudden he was like on the team fight, joining the team fight, guaranteeing like 2 kills for a 9Z Globant, which was really, really important, especially with this damage dealing all the time, you know, this mobility that Suyo has. Yeah, so that is a really, really nice situation for 9Z Globant to get the first victory so far.